Just to set the record straight, the founding owners of the Access Bank were Ijesas. They were led by one chief, Faru Doye. Another major shareholder at inception was the famous chief Lawrence Omole. The bank was a small bank that was then regarded as not being well run. In the course of multiple recapitalization exercises dictated to all banks by the CBN, the original ownership of the bank became diluted. The last MD appointed by the original shareholding group was Tokunbo Aromolaran. At that point, the bank had been listed on the stock exchange as were all banks. Somehow, AIG, Imokwede, and Abat Wigwe, who were AGMs at the GT Bank, established a vehicle that secretly mopped up lots of the shares of the Access Bank without the knowledge of the major shareholders. The funding was believed to be from the Intercontinental Bank facility. Once they secured controlling shares, they consolidated their holdings and notified the authorities of their desire to take over the governance of the bank. They did everything by the rules, except that they did so clandestinely. Once they took over, they re-engineered the Access Bank aggressively. They also massively recapitalized the bank, thereby sidelining the old shareholders. AIG Imokwede took over as MD. After 10 years, he retired and Abat Wigwe took over. One remarkable thing the duo did was to acquire Intercontinental Bank in very controversial circumstances during the last banking crisis, leading to the compulsory sack of some bank executives. Meanwhile, all traces of Ijesha in the ownership of the Access Bank were removed. I, however, look at the story of Access Bank from another prism based on my inside knowledge of what happened. The story of the Access Bank cannot be complete without looking at its foundation. The money to buy Access Bank didn't come from any investor but a loan about 16 billion naira from Intercontinental Bank, managed by Erastus Akingbola. It was Akingbola that gave them that break to buy Access. Intriguingly, that money was never paid back. Sanusi Lamido, AIG schoolmate at King's College, Lagos, as the CBN governor, declared Intercontinental insolvent and put it for sale. It was offered to AIG and Access Bank for 50 billion naira. For a bank that was many times the size of Access Bank, a bank with 350 branches, to be offered for such a ridiculous sum. Check the records. No other bank has been so cheaply sold in Nigeria. Access Bank didn't have the money, but Evelyn Oputu of the Bank of Industry, who is AIG's mother-in-law, gave them the 50 billion naira loan to buy Intercontinental Bank. They paid the funds, took over the bank, and then refunded the loan the next day. It was the biggest scam in Nigeria banking history. Of course, the initial 16 billion naira loan from Intercontinental Bank was never repaid. I was to be clear that this is not talking evil of the dead, but setting the record straight. I do not owe the Access Bank scam personally against Herbert, but I can't keep quiet when records are being misrepresented. Erastus Akingbola was literally destroyed, but all said and done, for what purpose is our rat race and wealth acquisition? May the souls of Herbert, his family, and others in these accidents rest in peace. I knew it that a lot of things will be coming out. These days, the kind of highway you go take, they look the politicians. Also, now they so high, they look many people who are all these bank executives, all these CEOs, and the rest of them. I know, I don't know when this man, Body George, wrote his own piece, because I think it was after when the incident happened or before then that he talked about all these bank CEOs that forget about them. that a lot of atrocities here and there. And when El-Rufai was talking about, oh, how he could not sleep, how he was so restless, this and this and this and that, I knew that nobody say this guy love this man like this, oh, because we know many people, hundreds of people have been deleted in that Kaduna State while he was the governor. This guy never bothered. So waiting with this man interest with a Wigwe. Your guess is as good as mine. And I was just wondering, with their tribal bygones and what have you. And like what I just remember is that all these people that are at the top, when they tell you politicians do not have, when it comes to sharing of money, they want to do business, they don't use they don't talk about ethnicity or religion. But when it comes to the issue of what do they call it, politics, that they want to divide the people, they want to curry favor from the people, they will begin to use ethnicity and religion to divide the people. So it's called a divide and rule. So but and that's a higher level, they forget to, they know they love themselves like Kilode more than even their own siblings. A lot of people have been coming up saying a lot of things. We should try to do good. That is the only thing I can say. We should try to do good, whether it is true or not. And for the fact that this man again built his own burial grave or burial ground or tomb, it's people are like, at that age, what was he thinking? Even I don't think he ever beat. Whether the father that is even over close to 90 or over 90 even has a tomb to himself. We know that in the banking industry, a lot of atrocities are going on. A lot, and that's why you see them at that level. They are so stinkily rich because they know how to play the chess. Just like we heard that Obasanjo at some point was asking the guy, how come you become so this at your age and what have you? Like Yoruba will say, Oluwa lo ye o, na God understand every hidden thing that humans are involved in. But all I can say is that let us be good. Let us be satisfied with whatever we have. Vanity upon vanity, all is vanity. And one thing, those who will hear, those who see not hear will not hear. But just be among the people that will listen and make use of it. And all this rat race words, just like somebody is writing here, we need to, be careful. It's good to be ambitious, but at the end of the day, when you just look at what happened to this video, you just say vanity. What is all this for? Now wow. So guys, let's say your opinion. How your take on this?